What if I told you the Toronto Maple Leafs might be closer to selling than buying at the trade deadline? Yeah, let that sink in for a second. We're talking about tough decisions in net, a blue line that's falling apart because of injuries, and a front office that might have no choice but to flip assets instead of adding them. One wrong move, and this season could start slipping away fast. Leafs Nation, this is not just another rumor. This is a crossroads moment for this franchise. Before we get into it, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and help us hit our first big goal of 500 subscribers. This channel just started, and if you bleed blue and white like I do, you're gonna want to be here every single day. Alright, let's talk about what's really going on in Toronto. Right now, the Maple Leafs have something that sounds good on paper, but is actually a problem in real life. They're about to have 3 NHL caliber goalies, and no team in this league wants to run with 3 goalies for very long. Earlier this week, Toronto sent Anthony Stolarz down to the AHL on a conditioning stint with the Marlies. Craig Berube was very clear. There's no firm timeline for his return. But the bigger issue isn't when he comes back. The real issue is what happens when he does. Because while Stolarz has been out, Joseph Woll and Dennis Hildeby have stepped up. And honestly, they've been good. Hildeby in particular has posted a .20 save percentage, and that's not something you just ignore, especially when you're in the middle of a brutal playoff race in the Eastern Conference. So let me ask you this. Leafs Nation, why would you send Hildeby back down when he's giving you stable, confident goaltending right now? Exactly. That's why the conversation is shifting. This team is not just dealing with questions in net. The blue line is in serious trouble. Oliver Ekman-Larsson just went down with a lower body injury and is expected to miss time. Brandon Carlo is also dealing with a potential issue. Dakota Mermis is already on LTIR. And Chris Tanev? There's a real chance he's done for the season. That's not depth being tested. That's depth being exposed. And when your defense is this thin, you're forced into one of 2 paths. You either go all in and replace bodies fast, or you accept reality and start thinking about asset management. That's where selling comes into the conversation. Let's be real for a second. Stolarz' numbers this season haven't been great. His save percentage has dipped, and that's fair criticism. But here's what matters to NHL GMs. The last 2 seasons. Last year, his play was borderline Vezina caliber in stretches, and league executives haven't forgotten that. Nick Capreos nailed it when he said, "There are teams out there that need a goalie, and not a lot is available at the position." If he comes back healthy and plays well for a stretch, he's a trade chip. And he's absolutely right. Toronto is a different team defensively than it was when Stolarz last played. If he comes back, plays 1 or 2 games behind a more structured group, his numbers could jump fast, and so would his trade value. Let's start with the most obvious one. The Ottawa Senators are desperate for goaltending. Yes, they brought in James Reimer. But let's be honest, that doesn't fix everything. Their internal options have been wildly inconsistent, and they're still trying to dig themselves out of a hole in the standings. They're tied to Linus Ullmark's contract and hoping he returns to form, but pairing him with a more reliable, affordable option could change everything. Stolarz fits that perfectly. He's not expensive. He's signed for 4 more years, and if both goalies bounce back to last season's form, Ottawa suddenly looks like a very different team. And here's the kicker. Stolarz could realistically return before Ullmark does. That matters. The Panthers just won another Stanley Cup, but the future in net? That's shaky. Sergei Bobrovsky is 37 years old, in the final year of his deal, and his numbers have taken a nosedive. A 3.09 goals against average and a .75 save percentage. That's not good enough for a team built to win right now. Daniil Tarasov has shown flashes, but he hasn't played enough to be trusted as a true solution. Florida needs stability and flexibility. Stolarz gives them both. He's cheaper, younger, and buys them time to figure out a long-term plan without sacrificing wins in the present. This one is fascinating. The Blues look ready to move on from Jordan Binnington. His numbers are brutal, a 3.59 GAA and a .69 save percentage, and Joel Hofer is clearly the future if they let him take the net. A tandem of Hofer and Stolarz. That's intriguing. Even during a downstretch, Stolarz's 884 save percentage is still better than what Binnington is giving them. And again, his numbers last season were elite. This move could jumpstart a reset in St. Louis without fully tearing things down. As a Leafs fan, I'll say this. I don't love the idea of selling, but I understand it. This team is banged up, the defense is thin, and running 3 goalies is not a long-term strategy. If Toronto can flip this situation into help for the blue line or future assets, especially with how Wool and Hildeby are playing, it might be the smartest move they can make. But it's risky. And the margin for error is razor thin. Now I want to hear from you, Leafs Nation. Do you think the Maple Leafs should move this goalie at the deadline? Which destination makes the most sense? Or do you hold tight and ride it out? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to Leafs Nation Report, and help us reach our first goal of 500 subscribers. This channel is just getting started, and we're building it together. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Leafs go!